If you want to get the proper hustler's mindset and you really are ready to rock and roll, take advantage of my 2-month Hustler Mindset Special. Tap that green button, you'll be golden. So a lot of great stuff there for you, and I'll see you in this video. It's a good one. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, so pay attention. That's right, pay attention, damn it. What's going on, people? Glendon Cameron again with how to make a living without a job. This weekend was crazy. Crazy weekend. I was helping the client do some things, and his wife asked a question, and it made me think. She said this: wouldn't it be better to call it being enterprising versus hustling? And her lip curled up when she said hustling. And I was like, what's the big difference? Or she's like, when I think of hustling, I think of someone being ripped off or someone getting over. And I was like, really? Well, that's not my definition of hustling. And her husband was like, it's not my definition of hustling. And he said, if I wasn't out here hustling, we wouldn't have a house. So it got me to thinking. Here's this perfectly intelligent person who is literally hustling, hung up on the word of hustling. And I thought about it. And I talked to her husband later on because we were doing some stuff. And I was just like, has she always been that way? And he said, no. He said, now, a little backstory about this guy. He did really well, had a nice corporate job, well in the 6 figures, and they moved on up to Beverly Hills. And he said, we moved in the neighborhood, she met these other wives, and she kind of changed a little bit. And he said, believe it or not, she grew up really from modest circumstances. And her father was the handyman. He worked in the coal mine. He fixed stuff. She said her father hustled. And I was like, you're kidding me, because she doesn't act like that. And it got me to thinking. It really got me to thinking. How many people are preventing or circumventing their success because they're hung up on the word hustling? Because hustling's the new career. Hustling is the new career. You trying to get a job and work your way up, those days, except for in a few organizations, say maybe the military, police force, government, and a few companies, that stuff's out the window. It's just not like that anymore. There's too many things going on, too much. You have to have the hustler's mindset, or you're not going to make it. And the world is changing too quickly to try to climb the ladder of success the traditional way. This isn't to say you're not going to work hard or have a strategy, but, hustling, that's what she said. It had me rolling. Hustling. And we were putting together some stuff because I got to say, in one group that I'm in, another guy just got a warehouse. And that's what I was helping this client with. He has a warehouse, and he's got a nice size warehouse, about 10,000 square feet. And I was just saying, okay, this is what you need to do to maximize it. Because, I'm not going to tell you what he does, but all warehouses are not created equal, and all business strategies are not created equal, because you can have 2 guys, same warehouse, but they're selling 2 different things, and they're going to have a totally different warehouse setup. So he took his corporate package and got into serious resale, and he's doing very well. But part of the problem is, it's not that thing that and I really told him what I thought, and he kind of agreed that she can't say that, Tim, his name's not Tim, but Tim doesn't work for XYZ Corp. When you're like, Tim does this and works for XYZ Corp. That's very impressive. And there's many people who have a very impressive title, a great deal of responsibility, and paychecks that a squirrel could carry in his fist. Titles mean nothing. It's results. It's what you get out, what piece of the pie that you get. And he had a really impressive time, and you know, she's kind of like missing being able to say that, and it was just like, this is what I'm talking about when I say you have to get your mindset correct. You have to get your mindset correct, because if you have the wrong mindset and you're dealing with something like that, it can totally take you out of your game. Totally take you out of your game. You could be in a situation where you're doing well and someone will drop one of those, what I call, you're doing something counterculture comments. I got that when I was writing my book. It's like, yeah, I'm writing the book. Oh, so and you hear it. It's like that O of disappointment, or that O of, oh, that's not that great, or oh, that's not that hot. You hear that, and many people predicate their lives on being able to tell people something and impress them. I got over that years ago, because I think if you grow up in our culture, it's just kind of put in you. It's like, this is what you do to be a respectable person. I mean, growing up, I got the lessons that, you know, you work hard, you keep your nose clean, you get a haircut, and, you know, that's all it took. And to a degree, there's nothing wrong with that, but to a degree, there's everything wrong with that, because you're fed a philosophy that will limit you. I want you to think about it. Look at all of your friends. Invariably, most of the time, your circle of friends, your peers, you're pretty much all going to be on the same level. You know, it's just not going to be this wild dichotomy of, you've got like this billionaire hanging out with this wino. It's not going to be like that. Typically, people of similar mindsets are together. Water seeks its own level. And if you have a mindset of a squirrel, you're not going to be hanging out with the owls. It's just like, no, it's not. Because they're going to be up there on the tree limb going, hoo, hoo, hoo. And you're going to be running all over the place like you're on crack. Your mindset is incredibly important. It is incredibly important to your success. It is, in my opinion, the most important thing to your success. Because you go into an endeavor or a situation with the wrong mindset, that's like trying to run a marathon with cement blocks around your ankles. It's the same. It's the same. I see people shooting themselves in the foot with their mindset immediately. It's like, it's amazing how important. Like, I give you like a really, really simple thing. Simple. Like, when I'm going out, I'm always getting, like, I always park pretty close to the entrance. Always. And people are like, how do you do that? You get so lucky. This is what you do. When you're going to Kroger, when you're going to Home Depot, what most people do is this. Trying to run. You see a parking spot way over there. You got it, right? It's a technique. It's like, I was like, I'm going to get somewhere close, and I slow down. Just creep. Do not run through the parking lot. Because years ago, I noticed that when I was like running, I would pass, and in my rearview mirror, I'll see someone go into a car right in the front that I just passed, and if I had slowed down, I could have got that spot. And by the time I gun it and go all the way around the parking lot to get back there, someone else who just wasn't going as fast gets that prime parking spot. And I've noticed this over the years. And this probably came from men in the military and knows how road marches worked. Because I don't know if you're in the military, if you're at the front, you're pretty good. But the further you get back, if you have people who are not holding the line and not keeping the pace, you could literally be, the guys at the back could be walking fast, and the guys all the way in the back could be damn near sprinting to keep up because of how time works. And that may be overly complicated, but essentially, by teaching yourself the right mindset, it opens your mind to proper techniques. If you have the wrong mindset, you're going to say, oh, that doesn't work. And you won't do it because you've already decided that it's deficient. You've already decided that it's no good. So to guarantee you those results, you will do the things to make sure that it doesn't happen. I'm going to, like right now, we're about to do the disruptive coaching, and I'm about to drop some stuff that I've never dropped before. And it is, in my, once again, my opinion based on the results that I've gotten, extremely powerful stuff. It's helped me do so many things because your big battle is maintaining the proper mindset, because you have so many people that are trying to feed off that energy, or in some cases siphon it off, circumvent it, or just shut you down. Like, I have family members that I don't really talk to that much because they're extremely negative, and I could go in the building, save 12 people, and leave 2. And this is what that family member is like, yeah, you got 12, but you still left 2. You kind of fucked up, didn't you there, Junior? I'm serious. That's what would happen. And this person's life is so miserable. So miserable. But that's exactly what would be said. Because I was in a situation, and every time it is like nothing's good enough. Nothing. And when I was a child, it really, really just held me back, and it made me feel bad. Then one day I just got up and like, fuck this motherfucker. Their life sucks. Big monkey balls. So part of maintaining the proper mindset is, and this is going to be real big for some people, because we live in this culture where family's everything. And sometimes you've got some fucked up members in your family, and it's just like, well, we're going to deal with them. And I'm not talking about an autistic kid or someone sick. I'm talking about someone who's perfectly healthy, physically and mentally, but I should correct myself, who's perfectly healthy, physically, healthy mentally, and have an extremely negative mindset, or they say stuff, or they do stuff, or maybe they're an alcoholic or something, and it's just like, hey, we need to hang in there because we're family. I will say this: anytime that the person has a problem and the people who are around that person care more about that problem than the person who has it, it will never be solved. You cannot make other people want to get better. They have to want to get it on their own. So in this deeply family culture, I have, not say cut them loose, but I don't fuck with them too much, because it's not in my best interest to give them me. And that's very controversial, because I have dated women who suffer all kind of bullshit, and it's like, well, that's just family. That's my mother. That's my father. It's like, your father fucked up. And then one of my best friends was like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that. That's her family. I don't give a fuck. If your family is fucked up, they're fucked up. I'm sorry. Blood doesn't change that. And that's one of the things that holds a lot of people back. Holds people back on that tip, because now I was brought up like this. And one thing that my mother impressed on me since the age of 10, maybe 9, the expectations were I was going to, by the age of 18, get out of her house. If I was going to be there, I was going to get a job, pay rent, or I was going to college. The expectation, and there was a time limit, that I was going to have to do something. There was no hanging out, sitting around, chilling, sucking lemonade up in her house without being a productive member of society. Wasn't going to happen. So going back to mindset, because I want you to talk about it. I want you to understand. I am, the little kid from Alabama, dropped out of college, and I managed to leave my mother's house and never return. Not even for a week or 2. Never return. I know people with MBAs right now who are living with mom and dad. And the reason isn't that they don't have the ability to not live with mom and dad. They haven't developed the capabilities that are laid in them because the expectations were so low. That's the mindset. The mindset. That's why I say the mindset is so critical. if you have flawed expectations, low expectations, or really, worst of all, no expectations, you will meet that. You will meet no expectations, or you will meet low expectations, or you will meet poor expectations. You will meet that. And so this is why when people tell me it's so hard, I can't get out the house, or nope, you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy, and you got a problem with hustling. You got a problem with hustling. You don't want to hustle because hustling has such a negative connotation. I will tell you, I am proud to be a hustler. I am proud of my hustler mindset, because I'm going to give you a great example in a second of how the hustler mindset saved my soul. When you got to understand, 2013, hustling is the new mindset. Hustling is the new career. Many of you who are 20-something, you're going to do 10, 15 different things in your life for money. That's just how it is. I'm just telling you. But on how hustling saved my life, I was at a bar, and I was talking to a friend who's a writer. And I was just laying out my plans, and I showed this person who's a writer, first book. I was told that I absolutely sucked, and her exact words were, "You should spend 5 or 6 years working on your craft." That's what she told me. And I said, "Thank you, but I'm going to do this." And this was after the thing with the editor. Then, because see, my thing was, once again, hustler mindset. I had 2 major goals when I wrote that book. 1, I wanted to help people. 2, I wanted to make a full-time income as an author. Now, I want you to check the technique. The person who was telling me this has 30 books, maybe 34 by now. And the other person who told me that has a company, but 1.5 jobs, always hustling. Got hustler mindset, but it's diffused. So both of these people who are well versed in writing, one even has a English lit degree. Both of them, way in terms of formal education, way past me. But in terms of hustling, they can't hold my jockstrap. So this little guy, me, was able to use the hustler mindset after being told by people that, society has geared us that if someone has certain pedigrees, certain certificates, that they're an authority and we should listen to them. I don't have that mechanism in me. This is my mechanism. Okay, you have all those certifications, gotcha. You have that degree, gotcha. What are the results in your life from having no certifications and degrees? That's what I look at. I look at the results. I don't care what college you went to. I look at the results. And I looked at the results of these 2 people who was telling me what to do. And 6 months later, after this, I was making a full-time income writing something that both of them wanted to do but couldn't do. Did you hear what I just said? Both of them wanted to do the very thing that I was doing. They had prepared for it formally, but they didn't prepare for it mentally. See, that's what I'm saying. That the hustler mindset, the proper mindset, will carry you past people who are head and shoulders above you in certain arenas. Because, what are you doing? Oh, all right. I mean, this is crazy. In my neighborhood, people think they have bumpers on their ass. I'm like, either walk or stay. But people who have these, what I call certification mania, that, I have a degree, I have this, I have that, and a lot of people are like, you need to stop talking about education like that. No, see, I'm talking about education. See, your limited mindset is education is only a college degree. My mindset is education is every experience that I take in my life that I can put into my reservoir of experiences and create wisdom. That's my, definition of education, not just getting a degree. Many people have a very limited view of education, extremely limited. So, and there's another thing I will tell you in a minute, because both of those people, and one got back to me, had to file bankruptcy. And I take no glee in that and no joy, but the one who told me what I should be doing with my writing career wasn't making enough money from her writing career after 30 books to avoid bankruptcy. Think about that for a second. If you know how to do a certain thing, the results will reflect in your life. That's just common sense. That's just logical. That's just the way it is. But many people do not check results. They check pedigree first. And, I'll tell you, if you're a smart cookie, that's the way that you can really make a lot of money in our society, because that's how people are geared. Results, that's how people are geared. I will tell you another thing. Like I said, a friend of mine who was telling me this, who great example, he had to get a certificate, and that certificate, that certification program that took about 7 months, is the reason he currently has his high-paying job. And he was on that high-paying job and listening to some leadership courses, and one of the company's execs put this in a leadership course, which lets me know that company's culture is changing. The exec was saying that his daughter graduated from a prestigious university. He didn't name the university. And she graduated with a 4.0. For a year and a half, she could not find a job. She kept looking. She kept looking. She couldn't get a job. Couldn't get a job. She went online and took some free courses online, learned some stuff, and became really good at it. And those new skills that she learns online, actually, that's not true. The courses weren't free. They were nominal. They were cheap. He said compared to what he paid for her to go to that prestigious university, they were free. For a nominal cost, she gained new skill sets that allowed her to get a job within 3 months of gaining those skill sets. So let's back it on up. Let's back it on down. She spent 4 years, worked very hard, did the coursework, received high marks, got out of school from a prestigious university, couldn't find a job. Don't know what a degree was in, because that makes a difference. But she went online, and at nominal cost, learned some new skills, and got a very decent job within 3 months. Hustler mindset in effect. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Because I get a lot of people in my group that, it's like, I don't have a degree, or I'm too old. I'm like, shut that shit off. Shut that shit off. Forget that. If you are still alive, kicking, breathing, have energy and enthusiasm, you can create a life for yourself. That is part of the system or the matrix talking to you that if you don't have this, you ain't shit. When you have the hustler mindset, you have the ability to create your own matrix within the matrix, where you are the shit. You're the king. You run that shit. That's what the hustler mindset does for you. So, if you've got a problem with hustling, I'm going to tell you, you need to get over yourself, because in the end, the only thing that matters is results. That's what matters. Results. That's it. But I want you to chew on that, because there are many people out there in the world that have this, what I call wordplay connotation of negativity, certain words use this, certain words. Like hustling has always been a positive word for me, because when I was 10, going door to door, hey, Miss Jones, may I cut your grass for $10? Mr. Giles, may I cut you? I was hustling. I was working, hustling, and getting money legally, because I was hustling my ass off as a kid. Hustling. So keep on with that. I'm not a hustler. I don't want to be a hustler. Keep on with that stuff, because hustling, entrepreneur, put whatever little thing, at one point, entrepreneur, which is all of the rage right now. Entrepreneur used to be a dirty word. Entrepreneur was a code word for your ass doesn't have a job. I'm serious. In many people circles, entrepreneur has the same negative connotation as hustling. I'm serious. Same deal. So, right now, you go around like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. People are like, really? Wasn't like that 10 years ago. Wasn't like that 15 years ago. Entrepreneur, it's recent development where this shit's become cool. So while you're like saying, I'm not a hustler, or I don't believe in hustling, you might be missing the boat, because if you can get to the point where you can be ahead of the trend versus jumping on the trend as it's about to end or whatever, or coming in after it's bloated, because I'm going to tell you, mark my words, a few years, hustling will not have the negative connotation that it does right now with a lot of people, because it's growing. It's growing. So while you're sitting there thinking about why perhaps you're not as successful as you would want to be, think about, are you mentally tripping yourself up? Hustling is the new career. That's the new career. And if you have a problem, or you're just like, well, I don't like that word. I don't like hustling. I don't like that word. If that could literally be the big brick that's keeping your door of success closed. That right there. Everything that goes on in your mental environment is super important. So when you're trying to do something that you don't believe in, it's little wonder that the results are dismal. It's little wonder at all. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're trying to do something they don't believe in, or they don't like the terminology, because they don't have the proper hustler's mindset. When you get the proper hustler's mindset, I'm here to tell you, things that you would never believe could happen, they happen. I'm trying to tell you that mindset is so critical. It is so critical. You can have the best tools in the world, and with the wrong mindset, it's like you don't even have them. Actually, you make them worse, because instead of becoming tools of success, they become instruments of destruction. People who are born with a lot of money, but because they have the wrong mindset, like, I didn't earn it, I don't deserve this. I mean, you won the genetic lottery. Get over yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. I mean, there are people with a huge problem with money. They did this thing with Eileen Rockefeller on CBS Sunday Morning, and she had a little bit of that. It's like they would call her name, I'm Rockefeller, and she was string. I'm like, where did this come? I'm like, be glad that your great granddaddy started Standard Oil and gave you this phenomenal lifestyle that you, your kids, and their kids, and their kids, and their will be. I'm sorry. And she even did finally fess up that all of the positives outweighed the negatives. Duh! So, if you want to get the proper mindset, understand it's a daily process. It's something that you work on frequently, and it is worth it. It is totally, totally worth it. All right, this is Glendon Cameron. I'll see you on the good side.